I've been in real estate for north of 9 years now. I've done 500 deals or more, made millions and millions of dollars with my acquisition company, East West Properties, and I'm going to break down all the lessons that I've learned from the last 9 years in one video. I'm going to break down these topics into general lessons and advice, purpose and mission, sales, lead generation, and then finally hiring and team building. Number one is don't swing the hammer. This seems like an obvious rule to live by. You shouldn't actually be doing the work on the houses. Very early in my career, I spent $70,000 on an educational course that I won't name. I didn't necessarily utilize the knowledge as much as I could have, and it could have provided a lot more value, but it taught me one of a couple of different things. The most important thing being don't swing the hammer. And did I listen to that? No. I was out there doing all the work on my own for my first 8 or 10 different properties. I was out there, I was laying the tile. I was doing the painting. I was cutting the trim. I was doing everything. And what would happen every single time is I'd finish one of these houses. It would go over budget. I wouldn't make as much as I thought. Then I would list the house. It would sell. We would profit, hopefully. And then I would be unemployed again because I wasn't out there lead generating. I wasn't out there getting new contracts. So I was effectively unemployed. So when you're starting this business, I know it's going to be tempting to try to save money, to try to do all the work yourself, and you think that's going to better you down the road, but really, you were just trying to wear all the hats. You're not eventually going to be able to scale and make much money. I assure you, when you are doing all the work yourself, if you have a property or two that doesn't make a big profit, it ends up being not a very profitable venture. So at the beginning, make the decision to find really good contractors, find really good subs, trust them to do the work. If you want to manage it, that's one thing, but you should not be doing the work. You should be doing stuff that's $1,000 an hour tasks or more. You shouldn't be doing $10 an hour work, $20 an hour work. So don't swing the hammer. Number two, you very well may have to be backed into a corner to find success. What do I mean by that? A lot of you think that deals are just going to come really easily to you, and that in your first few weeks of investing, you're just going to find this fat rip, and it's just going to snowball, and everything's going to be easy. Well, in most cases, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to have to go through some adversity. You're going to have to fight through challenges. You're not going to find any deals. You're going to be beaten up by other companies that are more experienced, and there's going to be a catalyst point, some point to where it is forced out of you. For example, I was probably on my 6th or 8th flip. I had run out of savings. I was living on my retirement from teaching, and that money was running out. Well, I was finishing up the repair request on a house that we had gotten under contract. It was sold. We needed some repairs done. I was over there doing that because I was swinging the hammer, right? And I got a call from the appraiser. We were going to make $20,000 the next day. And the appraiser called and said, hey, you have this property under contract for $210. Well, it appraised for $190. And it was a really emotional moment for me. I needed that money bad. And I just went to the side of the house. I wept. I ugly cried, if that's what you want to call it. And I was there for quite some time. And I had one of two choices. I could quit, and I could try to go back to teaching my W-2, which I really didn't want to do, or I could man up. And I decided to man up. There was some new person that came from that day. It was out of necessity. I had to provide for my family. I had to be the person that, made money, was a deal maker. And I saw myself differently at that point. And it was just, I severed off the option that I could fail. I stood up a new man, and from that point on, I've been a man possessed, getting 1% better a day, and I've grown and grown and grown and grown. Likewise, there's going to be a situation in your life that it's going to force success out of you. Sometimes to get the best out of ourselves, we have to experience adversity, and more than likely, that's what's going to happen for you. Expect it. Don't dread it. You'll come out better on the other side. Number three, become the person that attracts the amount of deals that you want. Now, if you just say, hey, I want to do 100 deals this year, yeah, you can say that and you can try to be really positive with yourself and you can really say, yes, I'm going to do this. The reality is you haven't become the person that's going to attract 100 deals. So how do you do that? For me, it started with a book called Miracle Morning. I started reading every morning. I started getting into the Word. I started establishing goals. I went over those. I really tried to develop myself as a person. And slowly, over time, you start learning the skills and become better at speaking. And every part of you becomes more valuable, and you start attracting the deals that you weren't able to do before. So it's an iterative process. You have to become the person that you want to be. You don't just immediately become that person. Number 4 is to decide what type of investor you want to be from the beginning. Some people really want to be a passive investor. They just want to do a deal here, a deal there, a rental here, a rental there, and they want to spend a lot of time with their family, a lot of time on the golf course, a lot of time doing whatever leisure activities they want. And that's completely fine. But go ahead and solve for that from the beginning and orient every action you take towards making that happen. Am I that type of person? No. I would be driven stir crazy. I'm a very passionate person. I have a lot of big goals and dreams, and I work really hard for it. So I'm a very active lifestyle investor. I don't really like time off. I don't really enjoy vacations. I have a big mission that I want to accomplish, and I have oriented my business and how it runs because of that decision to be an active investor. So from the very beginning, choose the type of investor you want to be. There's not a wrong answer, and solve for that from the beginning. Number 5, in real estate, the good thing is that there's a lot of ways to make money. The bad thing about real estate is there's a lot of ways to make money. So the mistake I often see is someone says, okay, well, I'm going to get into wholesaling, and they realize that going direct to seller is hard. So they quit. And then they get into mobile home parks, and then they get into large multifamily, and then they get into lending, and then they get into whatever else their flavor of the week. Guys, decide what your passion is, get really good at that thing. And when I say really good, I mean world class at it. You know how to talk about it. You could go do an hour presentation on it anytime with no preparation. You know it like the back of your hand. And continue to get better at that thing year after year after year after year until you have it automated or you have a team behind you. Then, once that thing is sustainable, you're confident in it, the business is healthy, then go invest into other things, then go learn other things. There's nothing stopping you from continuing to learn, but if you're a jack of all trades and you're okay at a bunch of different things, you're not going to be successful long term. Hey, number 6, stop looking for cheat codes. There is no secret sauce to real estate. There are no secrets. It's just skill stacking, getting better and better and better at a lot of different things, getting better at speaking to sellers, getting better at comping, getting better at knowing how to do repairs, get better at managing people, get better at being a leader. All of these skills stack to where all of a sudden you become more valuable in the market, you attract more deals, you're a completely different person than you were before. So stop thinking that there is a silver bullet. There's just 1,000 little BBs over time that make you go where you want to go. So please stop seeking the cheat code. It's not going to happen. There's information out there, yes, to make you a millionaire. Will the things that I teach or any other person on the internet teaches you, can you be a millionaire in real estate? Yes, but the path will be long. The path will be difficult. You will come across things that are challenges. You will want to quit. But if you persevere and you learn the lessons and you don't try to skip ahead all the time, you will get there and you will be successful. Number 7, you'll only be as successful as the people you surround yourself with. So it was interesting. When I got started, there was a guy in my hometown, Kansas City. We'll call him Mike. His name was Mike B. I won't say his full name. But I came aware of his properties because I saw them listed on the MLS with a realtor I worked with. He did really nice flips. I actually tracked him down, traced him, gave him a call, and I said, Mike, tell me the secrets. I was trying to cut off, as the tip before, I was trying to cut off and find a cheat code. And he told me, over the years, I've done more and more houses. I've developed crews. I've gotten a little bit better, but I have capped out at 12 deals a year. Not 12 deals a month, 12 deals a year. And I thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. I didn't imagine an investor that could be better than Mike. So in my mind, 12 was the pinnacle. 12 was the pinnacle of deals that you do in a year. Now I do more than that a month, but at the time, that was what I thought, because I was a small fish in a small pond, and all I could see was the biggest fish in that pond, and I thought that's the biggest you could ever be. It wasn't until my first paid education experience, I think it may have been a John Martinez sales event, but I got to that event, they started talking a lot of game, and I was like, this is really impressive. And there was a guy that stood up, and he talked about doing 100 deals a year, and my jaw just hit the table. I was like, there's absolutely no way that that's possible. But then as I was sitting there and I was like, he's lying, there's no way. My brain started wondering, what if he's telling the truth? What would I have to do to get to 100 deals a year? What would I have to do to get to, 10 times what I'm doing? And that gets the mind going. And the reality was just that exposure, just that opening of my mind to a new possibility that I didn't think was possible started me brainstorming, what activities would I have to do differently? What would be the inputs that would change my output? And every time I have invested in any type of education, anytime I have elevated myself into a different group, those are the types of things that unlock in your mind. And that leads me to number 8, that every time I've paid for education, I have raised my game. Now, at some point, do you go to these masterminds and do you continually get like some amazing piece of information that you've never heard before? You often do. You get a nugget or two on what you could improve. But many times, it's just an unlocking of something in your mind of what you thought was impossible is now possible because you saw someone else do it. Or perhaps you're introduced to a new business partner. For example, I'm in a couple of different masterminds. Have I learned a ton in them in the last year? No. But I was introduced from a friend to a business partner that I am now creating the niche brand and creating niche data and these different things. That one relationship could be worth who knows how much down the road. And that's the power of masterminds is, yeah, you're going to learn, but you're going to meet new people. They're going to unlock new ideas. You're going to help others. You'll see them elevate. There's a lot of emotional capital there. But guys, I know a lot of you think you're going to get on YouTube and you're going to watch videos and you're going to put it all together. And can you? Yes. But at some point, you're either going to pay for education with either your time or you're going to pay for education with money to be in rooms with other people. I choose to pay for that education so that I can make my learning curve be steeper quicker. Number 9, sitting and watching modules and courses and just digesting information is not going to get you where you want to go. I don't know how many times I've seen people in mentorships or communities that I've been in where there will be people that comment on every Facebook post. They're at every Zoom. They watch every module. Book smart, they're all there. They know everything that there is to know about that topic, yet they have not done a deal. They have not gone out in the field and talked to a seller. They've not made one cold call. They've not sent one postcard. They haven't done anything. They do all the things that don't make money. Guys, there is a place for learning, but there has to be a significant place for action. Go and learn the topics that you want to learn. Go binge on YouTube. Go join a mentorship and binge on the information that they have. But then once you have a basic understanding, go put that into place in the real world. I can't stress to you enough how important that is. If you're not out there doing the thing, you're not going to get the output that you want. So please stop being what I call a content warrior, where all you're doing is consuming content. Go put that into action. Then when you find stuff out in the field that's like, wow, I had no idea. Then come back, learn more about that topic, and then that's where you start layering and stacking your skills and becoming more valuable. Number 10, stop viewing other people as competition. I'll explain it to you in a story. I had a acquisition guy. His name was Jared. Love him to this day. I hired him. He was my first hire in my company. He was an absolute killer, probably made me north of $1 million. It was the greatest thing ever. I thought I was the best trainer. I thought I was the best hirer. I mean, it just was going well. But then he got an offer from another investor to partner in their company. He went ahead and left, as he should. But for the longest time, probably 6 months, I was bitter and I was angry, and I saw him as competition. I wanted to crush him. I wanted to increase my operation so that his operation would decrease. And it limited my ability to do deals because I was focused on beating him instead of being better myself. But one day we ended up doing a deal together. I think I ended up making something like $60,000 on the deal. And I was like, you know what? This guy is my friend. I enjoy his company. I enjoy talking to him. We keep each other accountable. I just made money with him again. Why am I upset? And guys, you need to take that mindset from the very beginning, that all the other big wholesaling or flipping or whatever shops in your market, could you hate on those guys and create animosity between you and create a culture in your city that's not very healthy to where people don't work together? You could. Or, and I've done that, or you can collaborate with those people. You can go out to eat with those people. You can connect and mastermind with those people. You can do deals with them. Guys, just in the last year, I've done probably $250,000 in profit with Jared, and he doesn't work with me anymore, but we're still friends. We still talk to each other. And it took me a while to get over that with him. It was raw. But over time, I've adopted that train of thought that every time I come in contact with a new wholesaler, let's provide value. Every time I come across a new investor, let me give them a tidbit of knowledge. Help me to collaborate with them and elevate their game, so hopefully when they have a deal, they can come to me. Guys, every single person in your city, in your space, is a person that you can collaborate with, a person that you can make money with, a person that you can learn with. Adopt that from the beginning. Don't make enemies. Make friends. Make money together. Create community. It's just a better vibe. Number 11 is expand your time horizon for success. A lot of you want success right now. You want to be a millionaire in 1 year. You think that you should have it all come to you just because you have intention. Guys, if you expand your time horizon to 3, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, and you keep taking action, you'll win. It's only the people that quit that don't win. You don't have to be the best to win. You just have to keep showing up day after day after day and get 1% better day after day. And over time, you transform into a new person, and all of a sudden, you're at the place that you were praying for years earlier. Guys, expand your time horizon. Don't quit. Keep going. You will win. Number 12 is to learn to find joy and celebrate every win. To be transparent, I am terrible at this. The other day, I completed a foreclosure deal. We made a little over $80,000 on the deal. And there was nothing in me that even got excited. There was nothing in me that wanted to hit a gong and go celebrate it. There was nothing in me that wanted to go, take the team out to eat and celebrate. It's like, that is a huge profit, but I've gotten so accustomed to being so transactional in these deals that I realized that there was no joy in it. So I'm right here with you on this one. Every time that your salesperson gets their first deal, every time they overcome some objection they've struggled with in the past, every time you get that deal that was really hard fought, that you really had to work hard with the customer, every time you profit, every time you develop a new relationship, celebrate it. Enjoy it. Don't go through this business and become so transactional to where it's just digits moving around in your bank account and you no longer enjoy it. Guys, let's not take for granted what we accomplish in real estate investing. Making that amount of money at one time is not normal. Please celebrate with yourself, with your family, with your team. Don't get to the point like I've been in the past where you don't even celebrate and you just go through the motions. Really enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Okay, so now we're going to transition a little bit to purpose and mission. I only have one point on this one, but it's a very important point. You want to have a clearly defined, larger mission that can wake you up in the morning. What do I mean by that? A lot of you are motivated by money, which is fine. A lot of you are motivated by a bunch of different things. But over time, money loses its luster. Over time, new things and buying fancy cars and houses and things loses its luster. You've got to have some bigger purpose, a bigger impact that wakes you up. For example, for me, it's creating a community that has the best ecosystem of products that reduces friction from anyone doing a real estate transaction, to where the education of real estate is accessible to anyone, and we can create an ecosystem and community of people to where they are well trained enough to where any seller in any situation has someone around the country that can walk them through their options and serve them in an ethical manner. That is me. I want to build that community. I want to build that technology suite to where we can serve everyone and we can change the name of what an investor is from a greasy car salesman, a lowballer, a cheat, a scum, to someone that's like, investors, they want to make money, but they're pretty doggone good people. That's my goal, is to create a community of people that changes the foundation of what a real estate investor is to the average person in America. And it's spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours refining what my purpose is. And you're going to have to do the same. You're going to have to find what your purpose is. What is that thing that excites you, that helps, that bubbles up in your heart when you're thinking about it? When you wake up in the morning, you're thrilled to work on it. You don't want to go to bed because you want to work on it. Find that thing. Make it a part of your real estate journey or whatever entrepreneurial journey you're on. Make it a part of that. Next section, we're going to talk about lead generation. Number 1, all marketing works if you do enough of it and improve your skills with it. Guys, I'm known as the niche guy, the pre-foreclosure king, whatever you want to call me. I love niche lists. But is that the only marketing that works? Heck no. I've done normal direct mail, I've done TV, I've done PPC, I've done PPL, I've done it all. It all works. But as one of the lessons in the last section, you've got to expand your time horizon for success. You got to get better at each of these marketing sources. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to send out 3,000 pieces of direct mail. I didn't get a deal. It doesn't work. Guys, you got to put out the marketing in enough quantity and have enough time to let the deals start coming in. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to send out marketing with weird copy. You're going to do things that just don't make sense. But guys, all marketing works. You just have to do enough of it and have a time horizon to allow it to start working on your company. Number 2, speed to lead is very, very important. I'll give you case in point. The other day, I had a lead come in from TV, and the seller was extremely motivated on the phone. She said, I want to sell right now. I want to be out of this house right away. I just need this house gone. What would the investor that did the right thing do? They would have set an appointment up right then. Hey, can I come over to your house, let's say in an hour? Yeah. But I was a little bit passive. I said, hey, look, a little bit busy today. Could you set up a time for tomorrow morning at 11? I thought, well, sure. The deal's going to be there. Well, the next morning rolled around at 10 o'clock. She gives me a call and says, hey, another investor came out. I went ahead and sold the deal to them. Pain. Speed to lead is important. If there is motivation out there, you have to get out there right away. You cannot delay. You cannot make excuses. You got to get out there right then, solve that problem, get that deal contracted, and make the money. Likewise, with niche lists, if you follow me for that, if you have deals that are in foreclosure, for instance, you want to get out there day one. You want to be the first or second person that talked to that person, because if they want to take action right now, they will. And if you're not there early, you're not getting that deal. Guys, value speed, no matter what the lead source. Let's just say it's pay per lead. PPC. Someone comes in and fills an online form. You get that notification on your phone. Are you waiting hours, days to answer that lead? You better not. You better be calling that person the second that lead comes through, and you better be following up with that thing relentlessly. Guys, you have to value your leads. You have to get there quick. If you want to scale, value those things. You will start getting more deals because of it. Number 3, having a direct to motivation arm allows for a healthier business. What do I mean by direct to motivation? So imagine it as a pyramid where there's 3 levels. The bottom level is on-market deals for sale by owners. You're working through a realtor. You're making offers on the MLS. Can you get deals there? Absolutely. They happen every day. I've done it many times. Then there's a second level that is direct to seller. You're sending postcards. You have TV. You have PPC. You have PPL. Are those really motivated leads that you can get deals on? 1,000%. But you're kind of reliant on them calling you. You can't control when the phone's going to go off. You can't control when the lead's coming into your inbox. You can control once that happens, but you can't control it coming in. That's why I like to add in an additional arm called direct to motivation. Direct to motivation, I force things into an existence. I'll give you a story to illustrate it. Years ago, I was sitting on my back deck. At that point, I was doing a lot of driving for dollars and postcards and bandit signs, kind of those entry-level things that you think about. And I didn't have any deals to speak of. I didn't have any leads. I had recently sold my most recent flip. I had nothing going on. And I was sitting on my deck. I was kind of pouting. I had no idea what I was going to do to get my next lead. And my wife said, you need to get out there and provide. I started scrolling on my phone on Zillow. And on there was a red dot that said pre-foreclosure. And about a half mile away was where this house was. And I said, I'm just going to go over there. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't really even know what a pre-foreclosure is. And I for sure don't know what to do to help them. But I'm going to go over there. I went over there. My heart was going 1,000 miles an hour. I door knocked on the door, and I said, hey, look, my name is Michael. I noticed your lender was giving you grief. Is there anything I can do to help? They poured out their soul to me. I had about a 90-minute appointment, and by the next morning, I had that deal contracted. I assigned it for $50,000. What was it that unlocked in my mind? It's that I created money out of thin air. This lead was free. All I did was go help someone that was in need, someone that had motivation. And ever since then, 6 or 7 years ago, I've iterated over and over to increase the amount of sellers that I can help in really motivated situations. And that's my passion now. Niche. But guys, adding that onto your business, it doesn't have to be the majority of your business. It can be a portion. It can be a bolt-on. Add that on. Add something on to where you can get 1, 2, 3 extra deals a month. I think any of you would find that to be a good use of time. Number 4, this is a core value of mine for lead generation. It's to do one more thing, do one more activity, do one more marketing piece. I'll tell you a story. There was a deal that was in pre-foreclosure. I had contacted this lady 116 times in different methods. Direct mail, SMS, door knocking, video messages, email, anything that you can imagine, 116 times between all of them. In this house, it was vacant. This house, it was in my hometown. I wanted it. I knew the seller needed help and it had a ton of equity. And on the 116th time, I almost quit. I sat there and I was like, you know what? I've tried everything. I give up. But my core values kicked in and I said, one more thing. I went back to her Facebook profile. I saw that she had a boyfriend linked to it. I clicked on the boyfriend's link. I said, hey, look, your girlfriend has a foreclosure sale in the next few days. Can you help me out in connecting with her? She immediately called. We set up an appointment. I made $70,000. The seller walked away with $30,000, all because of that 117th contact, all because I did one more thing. Guys, in your business, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a newbie, if you're really seasoned, There comes a point where you're frustrated, where the deal flow isn't where you want it to be. You give up. You don't do that extra cold call. You don't do that extra door knock. You don't search for that hard-to-find seller with that last step. Guys, the one more time is where scale is. I'll repeat that. The one more time is where scale is. Do the things that other people aren't willing to do, and you can buy more houses at discounts that no one else can. Number 5, this is an obvious one, but consistency is important. Guys, you have to be out there every day, every week, keeping track of your KPIs. Okay? Set an amount of activities that's reasonable, of course, but do those things every week, even if you don't want to. I so often have sales guys that will come to me and they say, the business is hard. I'm not getting deals. The conversations aren't there. Hey, let's look at your KPIs. Have you been consistent? Hey, you were supposed to hit 50 door knocks this week. You hit 12. You were supposed to make 50 outbound calls. You made 14. There's a reason that you're not getting deals, and it's because you're not being consistent with what we laid out. Guys, you have to show up every day, every week, every month, every year. If you do that and you're consistent, the deals will come. Number 6, do not have instant gratification with your leads. I've even fallen this trap with myself. With pre-foreclosures, you can make money appear out of thin air. Same with all types of niche lists. But the fortune, as you know, is in the follow-up. For instance, just last week, there is a gentleman that reached out. It was a layup deal. I signed the contract. I have been following up with that gentleman for 30 months. 2.5 years. I met him in January of 2022. I signed this deal last week. It's going to make me $50,000. Why did I get that deal? It's because I'd continued to follow up with the seller. I'd continually provided value to them. I'd showed that I cared. That way, when he was in a pinch, he reached out to me. He said, you're the guy. Come over and sign. And then it was a layup. Guys, this is how your whole CRM is. You have leads that are sitting in there, gold, just waiting to be mined. Keep following up. You don't know what's going to happen in their life. You don't know what situations are going to change. You have to keep following up if you want a sustainable business. Fortune's in the follow-up. All right, now we're going to transition over to sales. What lessons have I learned there? Number 1 is you make your money on the buy. I know when the real estate market is hard, when there's a lot of competition, when there's a lot of emotion to raise your price on something, that you want to do that. But guys, don't just do a deal just to do a deal. Make sure it's extremely profitable. For me, I need to make sure that I'm making a good $20,000 on a wholesale deal. Will I make less on occasion? Yes, but I want to build a lot of margin into these deals. With a flip, I want to make at least $40,000. Your numbers could be different depending on where you are. If you're a solopreneur, you don't need to make that much on every deal, but I have a business that requires a lot of capital to run, so I'm very strict on how much money I need to make, because if I don't make that, it's not worth the company's time. So if you're doing deals, make sure it's going to be profitable from the beginning. Know your comps. Know how much your repairs are going to be. Make sure that you make your money on the buy. Don't try to force it and hope for appreciation, a hope that you can set a record comp in the neighborhood. Be conservative. It would be better to do less deals that make more money than a bunch of deals that make very little. Okay? Be smart with your decisions. Buy good deals. Number 2 lesson with sales: do not make your appointments about the house. What do I mean by that? A lot of times when I get a deal, I've signed a contract, or maybe I didn't get the deal, and I'm just kind of sitting and shooting the breeze with the seller, and I ask them, why did you pick me? Why did you go with me? Or why did you go with the other investor? And they'll give you all kinds of information about that house. And a lot of times they'll tell you, you cared about me. You solved a problem. You didn't just see me as a profit. You saw me as a human being. Guys, do not make the appointment about the cabinets that need to be repaired, the floors that are destroyed. That appointment is about the human in front of you. It's about developing a relationship with that human, seeing where they're at in their life, seeing if you can solve that problem. It is not about your clipboard and all your repairs that you need to do. Guys, believe it or not, real estate is a relationships business. When you go into that appointment, your goal is to connect with that seller. You don't care about the house. Of course, you need to know about the house and the numbers so you can get your offer right, but that should not be your first focus. That should be secondary. If you've been in enough houses, you know what the repairs are. You know what your offer can be before you even show up. So that way you can focus on the seller the entire time. You're paying attention to what they have to say. You're listening for every possible opportunity of a way that you can serve them. If you want to scale your business, please make these appointments about the people. It's not about the house. It's never about the house. It's about the problem that we can help them solve and get them to their ideal, realistic outcome. That's what these appointments are about. So when you get to the house, instead of just going into the house and taking a look at the home and having the tour, try to sit them down. Sit them down on a couch or a kitchen table. Have a conversation. Get to know them. Ask questions. Try to figure out what the actual problem is. Only when you really understand that seller, only when you have rapport and you feel like you're ready to move forward, then look at the house. That subconsciously helps them realize that you care about them more than the house. And at the same time, what does every other investor do? They walk around the house, they look at the house, they nitpick everything, and maybe they talk about an offer at the end. But there's never a real connection. So you're doing the exact opposite of what everyone else is doing, and that helps you stand out, and that makes you more likely to get the deal. Okay, care about that person. Don't care about the house as much. Number 3, have a childlike curiosity. Guys, you really have to have a curiosity about these sellers for them to want to work with you. No matter what situation they're in, ask leading questions. Prompt them. If they give you a response, dig deeper and ask even more questions. You should genuinely be curious about them and their situation and how to solve that problem. They feel that. They feel your emotion. They feel your care. And if you really have that curiosity to where you're, kind of like tilting your head and like, tell me about that. They feel cared about. They feel heard. Ask the questions. Take the time to get to know them. Don't feel like you have to go like direct to the sale. Really get to know them. And by building that relationship, you'll get the sale naturally. It won't feel forced. You won't have to hard sell. They'll be asking you for the sale. Okay? Make sure that you're having a curiosity about things. Number 4, while you're having that curiosity, you need to be searching for the problems that you can solve. What is a real estate investor at heart? Yeah, we provide cash offers, we buy houses. But for me, the core of it is, what problem can I solve? If there's no value add to me, I don't really want to buy the house. Of course I will, but I want to see a problem that I can solve with my own time and effort, my team's time and effort. And then at the end of that, we're able to solve a problem that the seller couldn't on their own. And that provides a big value to them, and that's why we earn the money. So guys, open your ears, listen, ask questions. Do not rush through the sales process. You're looking for that one little thing. What is that thing that's stopping them from signing with other investors? What's that thing that's stopped them from selling the house for years? Your goal is to find that thing and solve that problem at a really high level. That's the whole point of the appointment. Get to know them, solve their problem, get deal, make money. That's the flow of things. Number 5, you really need to study up on your objections. They will only have a handful. Maybe it's, I need to think about it. Or maybe it's, well, I need to speak to the other decision makers. Guys, this is where the study on sales comes in. You've got to know how to overcome those. A lot of times they'll say, I need to think about it. The average investor is going to say something like, oh, I understand you need to think about it. Can we talk tomorrow at 10? That's what the average investor is going to do. Then you leave that appointment, and statistically, the second you leave that appointment, your odds of getting that deal reduced by 50%. Instead, you need to have some type of way to overcome that objection. Maybe they say, hey, I need to think about it. And you simply say, Hey, most people that say that they need to think about it, it's just a polite way of saying no. It's okay to say no right now if you want to. And they'll either say, you're right, it's a no, which is great, you can move on. Or they'll say, no, 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 that's not what I mean. It's really this, this, and this that's the problem that I need to think about it. Then you have your opening. You can talk through those things that they issued to you, solve those problems. And on many times, I've had people say, I'm going to think about it. And by the end, with solving that objection, however you decide to do it, I end up signing the contract. Or perhaps the objection is, well, I need to speak about it to another decision maker. Well, you should have established that in the call prior to the appointment, but maybe it just came out of the blue and they showed up by themselves. And most people will say, yeah, why don't you go ahead and talk to your husband or wife? We'll talk about it another time. That's the passive way of handling it. Another way is saying, hey, completely understand it. You should definitely get the advice of your husband or wife. Could you get them on the phone right now? Then have a conversation with them on the phone, solve that objection, go ahead and get it signed. Guys, you have to be willing to pierce through that little bit of resistance. Most sellers are not going to roll out the red carpet for you. They're not going to make it extremely easy for you. You're not going to get many layups. You're going to have to go through these little bits of resistance and overcome some objections. There's only a core amount of them. Study up, solve those objections, have something that you can say. Try to extend that conversation and uncover the real motivation so that you can get that deal. Number 6, I kind of alluded to this before, but do not bring clipboards and things like that into an appointment. Guys, you're immediately showing the seller that all you care about is what's wrong with their house, that you're caring about your repairs and your costs. And immediately, to me, that puts a wall between you and them, and then they don't necessarily want to work with you. In my head, I'm, of course, calculating what those repairs are going to be, but I'm focusing on the seller. Only when you get to the point to where you've developed the rapport, you have gone through the sales conversation, they say, I'm ready to sign. I then go out to the car, grab my folder with my pre-filled out contract, bring it back in, and present that to the seller. I come in with my phone only to take pictures. I don't bring anything else. Guys, this is about the seller and making a connection. I can't stress that enough. Number 7 is to avoid giving offers. Giving offers just makes you a commodity. I imagine all of you have gone to an appointment where the seller says, hey, what's your offer? And you offer $100,000. Then they say, well, I need to think about it. Then you never hear from them again. They go out there and shop the deal. And then a few days later, you feel the pain of seeing the email from another wholesaler that sent out your deal. Guys, when you give an offer, you're a commodity. It's a race to the bottom. You have to set up your appointments in a little bit different way to where instead of it being just about money, it's about solving their problem. So for instance, it's a foreclosure deal and someone meets with the investor, you're having a good conversation, and they say, well, what would you offer for the house? The easy thing to do is, well, 75% minus repairs, minus $40,000, I can give you $120,000 for the house. Sometimes will they sign? Sure. Many times, though, they're going to go shop. Instead of giving an offer and giving yourself the easy way out, come about it from a different angle. You could say something like, hey, I get it. You want the absolute highest dollar. I want you to get the most you can too. But at the end of the day, you have a foreclosure sale coming up. You don't want to live in this house. You want to get into your next apartment or place like that. I can help with all that. What type of money do you think it would take to make that happen? So instead of focusing on a price, you're focusing on an amount that could make that happen. You're detaching the value from the house and attaching the value that you have to give in the situation. Maybe they say, well, I really think between first and last month's rent and moving and taking care of a few bills and having some breathing room in my finances, I really need to take home $25,000. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. What do you owe on the house? What does the mortgage statement say? They pull out the mortgage statement. They say they owe $100,000. So what you're saying is, if I could get you $125,000, I could pay off your note, get this foreclosure situation away from you. I could get you moved. I could get you moved into a new house where it's safe, it's clean, you have a lot less stress. Would that help? And they say, yeah, that would be great. Then you go ahead and sign. Guys, I try to distance myself from giving offers because the second I give them my offer, they have what they want from me. So I try to not be a commodity. I try to be a problem solver and try to work backwards into what they really want and solving that problem instead of just giving what they ask for in a dollar amount. Number 8 is to divorce your desires and focus on the person on the other side of the table. What does that mean? A lot of you are coming in and all you can think about in that appointment is, I got to get that contract. I got to get my bag. I got to make my money. Guys, if you want to be successful in niche or you want to be successful in real estate investing at large, you have to completely slash off your desires when you go into an appointment and be completely laser focused on their problem. If you can solve their problem at a high enough level, you will get the contract, the money will come, but don't have commission breath. Don't make it about you. It's not about you and your bank account. It's about them and their situation. And like I said, if you solve that at a high enough level, money comes from that. Number 9 is be yourself. Don't feel like you have to fit yourself into some sales system or be really robotic in what you say. Be yourself. If you're high energy, be really high energy. If you're more reserved, like I am, be yourself. Don't feel like you have to be some different person in the living room. Be who you are. Bring the value that you have. Some sellers will resonate with that. Some sellers won't. That's okay. But more often than not, it's better to be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone you're not. They can feel it. The last is number 10. Train your team relentlessly and don't assume they know something. Case in point, my guys were having a little bit trouble closing some deals recently that said, our conversations aren't going the best. People are slamming the door in our face. We're not getting in the door and having that conversation that we're supposed to present all of the options to the seller. I said, that's kind of weird. Well, here's the couple of objections they might say at the door. Well, the first one is, I already took care of it. It's taken care of. So then I role played with them and I said that. And one of my sales guys was like, and didn't know what to say. Guys, we can't assume that they know even the most basic things, even if you've trained them on that all the time throughout the process. I equate it to telling my toddler to go brush their teeth every night. You would think after thousands of reps that they would just get up on their stool, put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, brush their teeth, make it clean. No, you have to hold their hand every step of the way. You have to reinforce the same process over and over. That way, hopefully when they're 6, 7, 8 years old, they'll say, hey, Daddy, I went and brushed my teeth. And you didn't have to do anything because it's so ingrained in them that they understand. And the same thing is true with your salespeople. You have to role play with them constantly. You have to listen to their calls. You have to do the things, the intangibles that will make them better. Do not assume as their leader that they know what they're doing just because you've taught it a few times. Did you figure out things on your first couple times of trying? No. Don't expect your team to. They're not going to. You have to reinforce it over and over and over, and eventually it will click. Our last section is about hiring and team. First lesson is that you need to find your who on every task. Every time you come across a new situation where you're not an expert at it and you feel like you need to go become the smartest person on that topic, don't do that. Find a who. For example, years ago, I would always try to stop every foreclosure sale on my own. I would call the lender. I would call the foreclosure attorney. I would be on the phone over and over and over and over, and I would get the foreclosure sales stopped almost every time. I knew how to do it, but it prevented me from going and finding new clients. I spent all my time on the phone and stopping these sales, and I'm like, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a who, someone that can do that for me. So I started calling up title companies and saying, look, I need a title company that can do creative finance deals for me. Check, we can do that. Can you help me stop foreclosure sales? I interviewed 15 different ones. There was only one that said that they could, and that is the title company I use today. And now every time we have a foreclosure deal, I submit that over to my title company. I know that they're going to get that foreclosure sale stopped. That is the type of leverage. That is the type of who that you're looking for. And this could be any topic. It could be controlling your email. It could be any type of admin task. It could be writing up your contracts. It could be anything that you don't necessarily want to do or you're not necessarily an expert at or anyone could do. Find your who. That's what lets you elevate in your business, is finding those people that not only love the work that you don't like, but they're better at it. Every time you've come up against that, you don't want to do something, find a way to delegate it. Find a who. Number 2, this one is absolutely huge, and that it's that you should be hunting talent for your team just as much as you're hunting deals for your business. A couple years ago, I went to a conference, and Layla Ormozy actually spoke at this conference. And for about an hour and a half, she dropped game on everything she does to build a culture and to build the right teammates and the amount of activities that she does to get the right talent coming into her business. And this was really convicting to me because I had struggled with finding A talent, maybe struggled to even get B talent. And I wondered, why the heck are my people not better? And it's because I didn't have relentless focus on it. I had a relentless focus on finding deal after deal after deal after deal, but I only had sparing focus, very short-sighted focus on finding people. I might, go through the process once, and that person didn't accept my job offer, and then I just quit. Guys, if you want a good team, you have to focus on your hiring. You have to get the right people in the door. Your people make the business. You have to put an amount of focus on that topic to where you will get the output. Just like I have to do 50 door knocks and 50 calls and X amount of activities to get a deal, you have to come up with those same KPIs for developing talent in your company. I need to put up this many job listings. I need to go through this many resumes. I need to have this many interviews. The people that you get in your company, you should be absolutely thrilled to get. There should be no one in your company that you don't want there. They're perfect fits. And that brings me to number 3. Unless it's a 1,000% yes for a person in your company, you should not hire them. There are several different hires that I've made where within a few minutes of having a conversation with them, I knew they were the right person. They were perfect. I had to have them. Other conversations where it's like, the person's okay. Maybe I'll just go with them. I think they can do the job. Guys, you don't want those people. You know how we buy houses? We buy them from motivated sellers. At the same time, if you need to hire someone, you can be a motivated hirer. You don't want to be that person. You want to go through the process over and over and over and find that person that is perfect, the person that you have to have. Number 4, run all your applicants not only through multiple interviews, but through a personality test to make sure that they're even the right fit for the job, and run them through a cognitive test. This is not just testing intelligence. It tests someone's ability to make decisions quickly and adapt quickly. If they don't have a high cog, they don't have the right personality for the job, more than likely it's not going to work. That's why you have to get so many people through the application process, because you got to find the right personality, you got to find the right intelligence level to make it happen, and when you put those two things together, you come up with a perfect candidate. And that's the type of people that you want to hire on your team, not someone that's like, they're okay with their personality. Their cog's a little suspect, but I think I can make them, who they need to be. Guys, you can make a C player into a B- player. That's it. You want to find those A players that you can put some effort into and they turn into A+ players. Number 5, things in your company are hard because your people aren't good enough. Your standard for the people that work in your company is not high enough. And that may be hard to hear. There may be people in your company that are a little bit underperforming, or you're a little frustrated, or maybe they don't work enough. And it's because you didn't run them through the personality test and the cog test, and you didn't do enough due diligence up front. You were a motivated hirer. So sometime you're going to have a tough conversation within yourself or your leadership team if you have one, and decide, are these people right for my company? Are they going to allow me to scale? Are they going to allow me to ever be on a week vacation and not have to be here and not have to deal with a fire every 5 minutes? Guys, just like there are huge deals out there in the market waiting for you, there are perfect candidates waiting to come into your company and transform things, remove stress, solve problems for you, and do things for you that you didn't know were possible with an employee. You just got to keep hunting. Number 6, if they're not a 100% core value match, it's a no. We have core values in our company, and I almost go through every single one. And do these people match it? If they do, great. They can move on to the next thing. If they do not match, it's probably not going to work. And is that their fault? Could they go be successful somewhere else? Absolutely. But I want a certain type of culture in my company. And if I don't adhere to every single one of those core values, suddenly that core value gets weak. And then the company gets a little wobbly. And you don't want to have that atmosphere. You want to have people in your company that are just like you, people that are smart, people that want to work, people that adopt everything that you have to say, and it makes work fun. It makes the job easier when things aren't going well. So make sure that you have core values, make sure your hires adhere to every single one of them. Number 7 is that the best people cost 25% more on their salary, but they can produce up to 500% more on the output. So while it's scary to say, go from that $80,000 employee to the $120,000 employee, that $40,000 can be scary. I get it. But that $120,000 employee could bring back 5x what that other person is giving you. Once you have an A player and you know what that looks like, it is so liberating, and it elevates your mind onto what to expect for your company. So take the plunge, hire the right person, just like you don't want to hire the cheapest contractor because they'll do a crappy job. Same thing is true in hiring. You don't want to choose the person that'll take the least. You want to find the person that's excellent for the job, and sometimes you have to overpay for that person knowing that they're going to produce way more than you're paying for them, and it is worth the risk. And number 8, everything in your company, whether good or bad, is your fault. If things are going well, good, you can pat yourself on the back. If everything is going rough, hey, you've failed to hire the right people, you've failed to train, you've failed to do something. Take accountability for the results in your company. It's going to be good for the culture, it's going to be good for your mindset moving forward. You've got to take extreme accountability for where things are at. That's the only way that you can move forward. Guys, I've been doing this business for 9 years now. I've made millions of dollars and made a lot of mistakes. These are the lessons that I've learned. I hope this has been valuable for you. I hope you can take a thing or two and implement it into your business. Let me know. Is this the type of content you'd like where it's just more laid back? I'm really trying to give value. Or would you like shorter, more action-packed content? Let me know in the comments. I really value what you guys think. I just want to provide you value at the highest level I can, get you going in your business, elevate your business. So please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. It means a lot to me. I'll see you on the next one.